Hi, everybody. Welcome to Experts Dig In with Doggies for Dementia. I am Carmen DeValis, founder of Doggies for Dementia Foundation, and I have a wonderful person here today, a friend of mine, Kelly Carter, who is
Hi.
hey, Kelly. Kelly, I'm going to do a brief introduction, and we're going to have a great chat today because we're going to
Okay.
talk about gratitude, manifestation, and dementia. And Kelly is a speaker, author, trainer, catalyst coach, which I love, and I know you're great at that too, by the way, I can say firsthand. And you're known as Manifestologist, and that's a hard word for me. I'm proud of myself.
You did good.
Thank you. Yeah. And, share the art of manifestation. And how interesting to talk about that while, we are talking and families who are family caregivers, caring for people with dementia, are thinking like, how does this help me? How is this going to help me? So I think maybe that's a great question to start with, or, let's talk about what does that mean, manifestation, and how does that
Well,
help?
manifestation is bringing something into reality. It's calling something forth, bringing something from the background into the foreground. To manifest, to create, to author, to just bring it forth, whatever it is that you're looking for. So the art of manifestation would be bringing your hopes, your dreams, your goals into your reality, manifesting them.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah. So it has to begin with being clear then on what it is that you want.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I think that's a tough one sometimes when for caregivers that are learning to manage, and every day is a new day when it comes to dementia, and thinking about, well, what do I want? Because as caregivers, for the most part, are almost selfless, which is why we encourage getting help and things,
Right.
because you can't go on a long time being 100% selfless.
Right. And I think, like you say, like, what do they want? And when you think about what do they want, we want to think about, like, in terms of what's the experience that they want to have or they want to generate.
The experience.
The experience that they want to have. We're not talking about, want to have $50,000 in a mansion by the water. We're talking about, what is it that they really want to experience in the moment as a caregiver in their day? Every day is a new day. What's the experience that they're committed to creating?
So it might be what they want to feel.
Yeah. What they want to feel, what they want to experience, what they want to, the person that they're caring for, the experience they want them to have. And I mean, I like to say that, thoughts are pretty powerful things, right? I tell the kids all the time, your thoughts are more powerful than laser rays and gamma rays. So really putting it out there, like what your thoughts are. I mean, they've been measured. They measure your brain waves. They're very, very powerful. So putting it out there, like being clear on what it is that you want, having clarity on what it is that you want to experience, what you want to feel, what you want to have happen by the end of the day, or by the end of the time that you're with the person that you're caring for.
Okay, so you could break that down to something pretty simple, right? Especially start with simple. I mean, for some caregivers, it might be, I want 6 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep.
Okay.
And so how to manifest that? And then the next step.
Oh, I was just going to say, so 6 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. That might be a really great thing to go for. And at the same time, how about the most restful sleep I've ever had?
Okay.
And we haven't put 6 to 8 hours on it. I think I told you I have a little trick on sleep, before I go to bed, depending on if I'm only going to get 2 hours or 3 hours or 1 hour. I trick my brain and I say, like, every minute it's going to feel like 2 or 3 or 4.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
I thought I told you that one. So yeah, if I'm going to go to bed and I'm only going to get 2 hours sleep, then as I fall asleep, I say every minute's going to feel like 3. 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 And I go to sleep.
Okay.
So instead of putting a time on it, because the time doesn't really matter, You can get 2 hours and be absolutely refreshed. You can get 20 minutes and be absolutely refreshed. So the time doesn't really matter. So it's actually training yourself to be logical. Yeah, I'm not gonna go down another rabbit hole. It's training you to be really logical. Like
okay.
6 to 8 hours might be a long shot, like how often you get that. So how about just, I'm gonna get the most restful sleep I've ever had in my life.
Because it goes back to the experience. What do you want to feel?
That's what you're looking
I want to
have,
feel
right?
rested. Yeah. Rested. Okay. And then it's, okay. So in looking at that, then part of that would be how we view it in our head. Like, okay, so, you know, a lot of caregivers really don't get that uninterrupted sleep because things can happen, and they're like, they sleep with one eye open and one eye closed, right? And so that restful sleep. So would it begin then with their mindset around that?
Absolutely. Because how many people do you know that say, I have to get 8 hours of sleep every night? Do you? Who said?
No. I don't say that.
I don't mean do you. I'm just saying, do you? Like, who said? Who made that up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if I don't get 8 hours, well, you know, it could have been a thunderstorm for 8 hours. And would that have sufficed you? Maybe then you're going to go, oh, I should have gotten more. So it's not the time. It's what we tell ourselves.
Okay.
So it's absolutely what we tell ourselves. So as far as feeling restful, whatever it is, like I said, you could fall asleep for 20 minutes and have restful sleep. As a matter of fact, science has shown us that if you are really, really tired, take no more than a 20-minute nap, and that will give you your little jolt of coffee as far as sleep goes.
Okay, so it's thinking.
It's asking yourself, do I need 6 to 8 hours? Who says? Do I like 6 to 8 hours? Maybe. Is that true? Is that true? Could I just, if I woke up 2 hours later and I felt absolutely energized and somebody said, you've only been asleep for 2 hours, would you be like, oh my God, I gotta go back to bed, but you felt great? I mean.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm a caregiver. I'm not getting restful sleep now. And it's my goal then to wake up feeling rested.
Right.
You know, so mindset around that. Or do I start looking at ways of ensuring better sleep too?
Absolutely. I have as one of my taglines is, if you think it's done before it's begun, all the rest is preparation for manifestation, right?
I've read that.
I am going to, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm going to have the most restful sleep that I've ever had in my entire life, now I'm going to wake up and that's how I'm going to feel, absolutely rested, ready to take on my day. So now I'm thinking it's done. So all the rest is preparation for manifestation. What things can you put into place? Is there a routine? Is there a ritual that helps the situation as a caregiver? Are there things that you can put into motion? Thoughts are things. We've already said that this is how you're going to wake up, well rested.
Right.
And so just being surrendered to that.
I want you to, this is on your email, at the end of your email, your signature. So I want you to repeat that a little bit slower, your tagline.
When you think it's done before it's begun, all the rest is preparation for manifestation.
Okay.
So you know it's happening. I'm waking up absolutely rested. Absolutely rested. Doesn't matter if it's an hour, if it's 10 hours. Absolutely rested, ready to.
So I already thought of something for myself. Like when I'm thinking about Doggies for Dementia, I already saw that successful, doing great things on whatever level. I was already so clear on that from the get-go, right?
Right.
But when I think about physical type things, I mean, this has to be mindset, right? If I think about, well, I know if I get 2 or 3 hours sleep, I'm not going to feel as sharp, or what have you. And so I think there's certain things, and even though I think starting a nonprofit from scratch and already believing it's going to be successful is a bigger reach than being able to say, well, 2 hours sleep is going to be enough, right?
Right.
I mean, really, let's put it in perspective.
But it's the same. Little commitments lead to large commitments.
Right. And and it's a whole lot, it feels a whole lot better to, even if I wake up and I'm like, oh man, I'm feeling a little tired. I'm like, I got enough rest today. I got enough today. I'm good. I'm good to
Yep.
go. It just, instead of going, walking myself to the bathroom, going, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And guess what? I
Yes.
am so tired.
Exactly. And there's a programming that gets to be done when you wake up in the morning. You decide
Yes.
how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's always my goal that you've seen that, or maybe you've heard of that quote or that phrase where it's like, I want to be the type of woman that when my feet hit the floor in the morning, the devil says, oh, bleep, she's up.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So that's the goal, but that also might mean that before you jump out of bed to go to the bathroom, unless you just absolutely have to go, that you still go back and you reground yourself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm getting grounded for my day. This is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to crush it. I'm up. I feel great. I'm well rested.
Okay. So like affirmations
Yeah,
to begin
absolutely.
with. Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe that's one thing people could do, is to start with some affirmations that are simple and true to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep at it, because you're creating new habits for yourself as well. And it's the
Yeah.
way our brain's wired. It likes to have stuff like that, and leading to like little changes. Waking up and just saying, I feel great, instead of, oh, it's Monday. It's like, it's
Yes.
Monday. We got a whole new week to crush it.
Yeah. Yeah, I find, and when I suggested that to people, they're like, oh man, it's just more psychobabble. They're like, what do you think, or whoever told you that because it's Monday, that it's a day to dread? Because you were already saying that every day. Where
Right.
was that okay? But it's not okay to say, I
To say
got
the
this.
opposite. Right. You've
Yeah, the
already been
opposite.
hypnotized.
Yeah, it's already a done deal, right? So
Exactly.
yeah. So affirmations, so choosing some
Yep.
affirmations, and
Yep.
those are
Using
fairly
some
easy to
affirmations.
find. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I know some of your favorites already, because
What are they?
you said them. Yeah. Yeah. And I think even before I even get out of bed, there's things I begin with, so that I'm started out that way.
Yes.
Hmm. Which is key for me.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. I mean, they've actually done studies on very, very uber successful people, um, people that have done really well in their careers, excelled, and they found that the statistic is somewhere around 80% of them have a practice similar to that it's affirmations, or it's meditation, or it's journaling, or what have you. It works. If
Yeah.
80% of the successful people out there are saying that they have something that keeps them going, then might want to try that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of the things when you talked about manifesting and envisioning what it is that you want, I actually have it recorded. Like, I call it my life story, and it's what I'm feeling, what I'm looking at, what's happening at the time, and I listen to that before I go to bed, because that's like
Nice.
my dream life, right? And I'm envisioning that already and thinking, well, I already feel like I'm there, and then then every step is like one step closer, but at the same time acknowledging, all the great things that I am surrounded with.
Yeah, and I think it's perfect that you use, like you said, you listen to that every night. I can tell you, though, I've done things like that where I've done like just the written things. I did this one exercise. It was supposed to be like a brain cell bubble or something. So it had the one in the middle, your big goal or wish, and then there were all these connected cells. And I put all this stuff in, and I found it like 4 years later, and almost all of it had happened.
Yeah.
So
Like
it's
the
kind of like
vision
when you
board.
know it's something you really want, but even if it's not in your, and I definitely recommend the repetition, because that's training your brain to go for it all the time.
Right.
But when it's something you really, really want and you actually put it out there, it's amazing to see, hey, I said this, and now look, like it's done. I couldn't believe the things that were checked off, because one of my things is list making makes me crazy sometimes. I never feel like the list is done.
Yeah.
But to look back on something like that and be like, look at how many things I could cross off, was amazing. So
Yeah.
putting it out there, like really making that commitment, making that declaration, the repetition, that's good for your brain. That's good for your brain to stay in that space of gratitude, to stay in that space of having what you want manifest, generating those experiences that you want.
Yeah, and we're really not talking about a huge time commitment, like not even a minute sometimes, right? I mean, it's just a matter of like flipping that switch and those few affirmations or what have you. And I do know some families that, in this particular cases, it were the wives who were caring for their husbands said that they would get up a good 30 minutes before their husbands did, purposefully, to have that morning time to get centered, because it's hard for them, and it can be very frustrating, and they didn't want to lose their temper, or let that frustration come through, because they're grieving also. They're grieving the life they thought they were going to have, and trying to wrap their heads around that on their own while caring for someone there's a lot of things on that plate.
There is.
And so to look for those easier things to do for themselves to stay centered. And sometimes it meant some experimenting, what worked.
Oh, for sure.
And for some, it's just a matter of starting something.
Yeah, it really is. And, my boyfriend says something like, when it comes to the kids, it's a little different than caring for a loved one who's dealing with dementia or Alzheimer's. But like with the kids, like what we're dealing with them, we're in it for the long game. Like some days are really, really hard. And I acknowledge that. I mean, I haven't personally had to care for someone in that situation. I know you have. But some days are really, really hard. Yeah. But to know that you're in it for the long game, and, for wives that are caring for their spouses, or children that are caring for their parents, there is such an honor and a privilege to be able to do that it's hard not to see the gratitude in that. And it doesn't mean that from day to day that there's not going to be your struggles, and you're not going to have your absolute meltdowns or days where you got to cry in the shower.
Right. Yeah. And to make that's okay too.
It is. It's okay.
Yeah. One of the things I learned when I was writing my book, talking to families, some of them were my patients before in the clinic.
Right.
And then when they're telling me their various stories, there were things I never knew that they struggled with in their caregiving. And I said, I just want to know, because I felt like I failed them, and these are things you didn't share with me in the office. And they're like, it's nothing. I thought you would think I'm a failure if I said I'm having a hard time, or I thought that you would think I wouldn't be able to take care of my husband or my father, or whoever. It's usually women who think this way, by the way, that I wouldn't be able to take care of them. And you would say, I can't take care of them at home anymore. And like, wow, so nobody has that power. But
right, but it's funny the things we tell ourselves. So like you say, like women thinking that they're supposed to be stronger. Can you imagine the men that just didn't tell you because they, in their minds, would absolutely be a failure to have shared that with you?
Totally, the failure.
Right, so that we're not strong enough. That's one of the things that I'm a full-on advocate for, and even like in my clarity coaching, is having your tribe, being okay asking for support. That you need your allies, you need your information, you need to be able to share and to commune.
Right.
Beings, we're designed for that. It's what we're designed to do. And I think the way that our society is structured, sometimes we forget about that. And it's too easy too, from childhood on, that we have all these little experiences, and we think we're the only ones having this experience. We don't think anybody else out there could possibly be having this experience. It's so unique that it's only us.
Only us, yes. And so true.
And reaching out and finding out that other people have done it, or have had experience with it, or could be an ear or a shoulder to cry on, or, an embrace, whatever it is, definitely seeking out that tribe for yourself.
Right. So that's part of the manifestation too, is to seeking. And I know even on some of the social medias like Facebook, some of the groups I belong to are support groups, and the rules are clearly, there's no judgment, there's no calling out. This is a place to be honest in what you're feeling and thinking, and to ask for what you need from the group.
Yep.
And how important is that? I mean, those that have some people I knew that's all they knew about getting on the computer was how to get onto Facebook for their group, because they didn't know computers, right?
Right.
They're like, but I do know how to do that, because they had their virtual tribe, which, you know, was second to being able to get out and to be around, you know, people and be in person.
Yeah.
What a huge value that is, because you're right. People are thinking I'm the only one,
Yep.
or as in the case of the women talking to me, I thought I'm the only one that had questions about care and couldn't manage it.
Yep.
Where were you ever prepared to be a full-time caregiver when you were say in the case of a husband and wife, you were expecting to have this long life with this person and travel, etc.? Where was it that you ever prepared to care for them in this way for sometimes a decade, right?
Yeah, I like to say human beings have, I think, wired into them a little bit of an arrogance gene, like, you know, oh, it's only me, I should know better. You know what I mean? Like who, you never had to deal with this in your entire life, and yet you think that you should be a master of it and be able to handle everything all by yourself. I mean, how arrogant.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean in this area, I mean all the way across the board. The kids have meltdowns when they can't figure out a math problem. You never did this before. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I think it's wired into us that we think that we should have and be and do and know everything.
Right.
And we don't, and then we beat ourselves up for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a friend who told me when he was that way, his mother would say, well, who gave you that much power that you think that you should ever expect that you're the only one and then he said that really gave him a great perspective. He's like, yeah, you mean other people feel this way? But yeah, like everybody at some point in time. And
yes. And I think for whatever reason, that is such a relief when people realize that they're not in this alone.
Oh, yeah.
That there's just it's like, wow. I mean, even one of my mentors a few months ago, there was some silly thing we were talking about. I think it was like going on trips and having everything ready before you leave. 70 plus years old, and he broke down like almost in tears when he realized that he wasn't the only person that did it. Like, he thought he was the only one that had to have everything ready in his house before he left on a trip. I'm like, I do that all the time. Yeah. And he's one of my mentors, been training, doing all kinds of stuff for his entire life. So it's amazing when we realize we're not alone, and that's so important for people to know, is you are not alone.
Right.
You're not alone.
And to hear that, yeah, it's just such an acknowledgement, and like, oh my gosh, I'm not that bad. Everybody else is feeling the same way. What?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, that's a lot to carry, to think you're the only one failing and getting your house ready before a trip.
Yeah, definitely put that weight of the world back down. Now you can be grateful for that weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, and I know that's how it feels for many caregivers. Like, I should know. They're shoulding all over themselves, right? I should know how to do this. I should know.
I told you that, didn't I?
I don't know.
You should all over yourself.
Maybe. It's true though, right? And we do that. And like, where would you have learned that? And you know, and I want to say the resources have improved for you know, family caregivers and things, but we have a long way to go. There's still a long way to go, and how to manage, and but they're better. They're getting there. Yeah. So we've got the manifestation piece. We've got acknowledgement, reaching for a tribe.
Yep.
Yeah. What other, so we've got our tribes together. We're trying to feel with gratitude and reframing our mindset around, you know, what it is. And then maybe just
moving forward, celebrating your wins.
Yeah, I like that.
As you shift this perspective, I think we've talked about it before. Like when you put this lens on of what you're looking to create, and you're being grateful for every step. As you begin to shift it, and you're creating like a new habit of looking for the wins and experiencing the wins and looking for the things. It's kind of like when you lose your car keys. You're looking for them. You're a lot more bound to find your car keys if you're looking for them, right? So now we're looking for things to be grateful for. We're looking for the things that we say we're committed to creating. We're a lot, the chances of us finding those things are a lot greater.
Right.
So celebrating each and every one of those wins, and celebrating your days when they don't work. And it's a little bit of a different celebration, I know, because there's like an authentic celebration in, you know, I wanted to experience joy with my husband today, and I did, and I was intending to experience joy with my husband today, and today went in the pooper, right? It's a difference, but to turn around and go, okay, so you learn what didn't work. Like today just didn't work. Like somewhere I get to shift who I was being. Maybe I was a little bit grumpy. Maybe, you know, I wasn't focused on what I was up to, whatever it is. Because we're making all this up. We're making this entire experience up. Whatever we're doing in this life, why don't we make up the stuff that works for us?
Yeah.
So
to think about what could I have done different, and what did I do that was good? It's like redefining what's a win. How do you define a win? Well, you get to define that.
Exactly. And like what you said too, like, what did I do? How did you put it?
What could I have done differently, and what did I do that was really great?
Right. So I like to say, what worked, what didn't work, what can I add in? You know, it's not what worked and what did I do wrong. It's not that. It's what worked and what didn't work. Well, you know, I got snappy. I snapped when this happened. I got angry. That didn't work. I didn't create what I was looking to create. So next time I know better. And celebrating that, it's a learning experience.
And those can be very small things too. I mean, sometimes we think that this has to be a big, grand.
It doesn't.
Something great that we did. It could be just that, the simplest things.
Really. I mean, really celebrating small commitments lead to large. So celebrating everything.
Yeah, because
everything.
I was going to say, if I waited for something really huge to happen to celebrate, there would be a long dry spell, right? It'd be like, no, there's a lot of really wonderful things that happen. It's how I define it, right? To me,
I would also invite you to, you might miss that really big thing because you're not in a space of looking for it. You actually might miss it.
Yeah.
There's another saying that you have to know how to be happy now, because when you're there, then it will be now then.
You know, I got to say that's really profound, because I have witnessed really great things happening for myself. I'll speak about myself. And I am in such a blur of activity and doing and thinking about the next step that I didn't stop long enough to like, wow, I hit that rung on the ladder, and to even celebrate or acknowledge it. I'm already moving on to the next thing without really celebrating that. And I missed out. You know, I look back and go, where was I? Where was I during that time? It happened. I missed it. Yeah. And
so
that's,
celebrate.
Yeah. And that's a real sad thing, to miss something really, to miss a part of your life, no matter what it is, but to miss a part of your life and look back and go, wow. I was like
what happened?
What happened?
Stop and smell those proverbial roses.
Yeah. And, you know, I know, and I've heard this before with caregivers, they're just like, oh my gosh, it was really, really hard. And so when it's over and their loved one has passed, or is maybe in the care of a community or something, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't stop to enjoy this time, this moment, or that moment of clarity, or when he or she was laughing about something and remembered in that moment, or some of those little things that are so profound. And
that's what I think is so beautiful about what you do.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
I mean, it's just to be able to, you shine the brightest light on that, exactly what you just said, to take that time, to take those moments and actually have them captured for people to see.
Yeah, and you would think, you know, a photo session, it's a photo session, what have you, but that time, almost like now people have time to celebrate with their kids and to spend time with them, that 20 minutes or something in a photo session, that they're just connecting with one another and not otherwise distracted, especially when you add a dog to the mix, because then there's this other element of joy, and there's no prediction there how that's going to go, and that's okay. That's really great. And then you know, people will say, wow, I haven't felt that present with him or her in a long time, because we're always doing. But yeah.
Yep.
And that's really what becomes the memory for them. And yeah. And that was like, I hadn't even stopped to think about that. And same thing happens with couples that do photos together.
Yeah.
With couples, they become more connected because they are focusing on one another without distraction, other than the camera. And what you want to do is ignore the camera, right? But
ignore the camera, but the camera man or camera woman is there, like telling you exactly what you need. Okay, so just act natural. Like they don't even have to think about what to do. Like the camera person is like giving them some direction. Like they can just be in the moment and be themselves.
I usually begin with, okay, just walk away and chat with one another. And then when you get to that shrub, turn around and walk back and, you know, talk about whatever you want to and just be in this moment. Let's just shake that off a little bit. And those are always the most candid, beautiful moments, the smiles, the real smiles, right? So, yeah.
I just love what you do.
Thank you.
You know that.
You know what? I love what I do too. I am like so in love with what I do for my life now. And I was talking with someone the other day, and I thought, you know, and he's like, "Wow, so 40 years and nursing," and I said, "It wasn't that I didn't really like it, or I wasn't good at it, or I didn't do great for my patients. It just wasn't." It wasn't great. It wasn't great. I didn't wake up excited every day, and it prepared me for now. I don't think I would have been ready in my 20s or 30s to do what I do now. It just had to happen, and it's time. And that, which is another whole piece of gratitude, is everything in its time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everything in its time, and we stop and think about stuff. And I also think too, every moment matters, that even in the tough times, those moments matter.
Well, they do. There's absolutely no way to get where we are now without having that moment.
Yeah, right.
Logically, you couldn't say, let's take that one out, then it doesn't work.
Yeah. Oh, we want to though.
Yeah, we want to. That's where our minds come in. We can just kind of erase it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, pretend like it's not there.
Well, I'm gonna close with, we're gonna share a little information how people can contact you, but I have one question for you that is above and beyond. So, so Kelly, who has inspired you the most in your life?
Who has inspired me the most? There's such a laundry list. Can I just tell you probably right now, like in this moment, who's coming to mind? I would say Betty Spruill. She's a mentor, friend, dear friend of mine. Very, very wise woman. She's been a motivational, inspirational, transformational trainer for probably the last 40 years, maybe.
Wow.
And I mean, in this moment, because there's so many. There's so many. And I was like, okay, well, she popped into my head, so I'm going to say Betty.
Perfect.
She's my one mentor that said, you should be able to point at any person going down the street and say, that's the relationship of my dreams because I say so. Like that framing of, I manifest what I want because I say so. And I'm not saying making something dysfunctional or anything like that. I'm saying the relationship of my dreams because I say so.
Wow.
So when it comes to manifestation, I think of that. Like,
very cool.
I'm going to have the day that I'm going to have because I say so. And at the end of the day, if it wasn't exactly like I imagined, I'm going to release control and going to find out how I can say that that was the best day I've ever had because I say so.
I say so. The mindset around that. Yep. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And you are an inspiration for me, Kelly. You know that. I've known you for a while. You've helped me a lot in helping to get clear even way back at the beginning, way back, what is it, in the year and a half now, the beginning of Doggies for Dementia.
It feels like it's been a couple, but yeah.
Yeah, no, Doggies for Dementia was a year old in January.
Oh, wow.
I was doing the work, but the program
right.
and what that was. And yeah, it's a nonprofit, like just about a month ago officially. So.
Yay!
For that, yeah. And so Kelly is a manifestation coach. You've heard her speak, and I know many of you are going to want to reach out and go, well, how do we find Kelly? That information is going to be in the comment section and the video information, because you have a lot of ways and you're on social media a lot, so that's good. I wanted to make sure I was connected, and I am, except on Twitter. Now we're connected on Twitter, so I'm following you on Twitter now.
Are you on TikTok?
No, I haven't done that. No, but I'm on Pinterest. I've been posting things on Pinterest.
Love it. Well, don't get stuck on TikTok. You'll get absolutely stuck, and puppies will be everywhere. It'll be crazy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So you know how that goes for me. Yeah. I'm grateful for my dogs, especially during this quarantine and isolation, and I'm being super careful for my own health. And yeah, I say they don't say a lot, but their eyes are very expressive. So
right,
they're there for me. Yeah,
they are.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kelly, so much, and thank you all for listening to Experts Dig In for Doggies for Dementia. I thought you might like that clever name, Kelly.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Right.
I do.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Have a great day.
You too. Take care.